Ever since the release of Black Ops Cold War, I've been on a bit of a zombies craze again. I don't mean as a whole, since that itch is never going to leave me. What I mean is the zombies mode from Call of Duty. Something about Cold War rebooting the story and gameplay just sparked my interest again, and since then I've gone through all the original maps in World at War and even revisited some of my favourites in Black Ops 1, and even picked up Black Ops 4 to try some of the more recent maps. And I even went out of my way and played a few rounds on World War 2 and Infinite Warfare's zombie mode. While very similar, it's quite refreshing to see how another developer would approach the formula that is insanely popular within the franchise, whether it's Infinity Ward's rather cheesy and amusing movie references, or Sledgehammer's horror and dark tone which felt similar to the atmosphere that was originally captured in World at War. Both of these versions are just as fun as the original and give a great bit of variety to an already quite large playlist. Also, World War II includes David Tennant, so what's not to love? And Infinity Ward added David Hasselhoff. For some reason. For a fairly basic game mode, Zombies has a fair bit to offer. It can either be just a standard survival mode where you put your skills to the test and try to reach the highest round, or if you want a bit more of a challenge, there's normally a few Easter eggs for you to find, with the later games being a bit more in depth and making the story way more confusing. For me, however, I'm more of a simpler side of things kind of guy. Hell, a majority of the more recent maps for Black Ops, I have no idea how to turn the power on, let alone finding the Pack-a-Punch. So while it's been great playing through all the older titles and maps again, I recently started to remember I found a mod a little while ago for another game that took the core concept of zombies and basically took the whole experience to another level. Basically, the point I'm trying to make here is there is a game out there that lets you play Call of Duty Zombies, but in VR. Now, there's a lot of zombie VR titles out there already hitting all kinds of marks for different approaches into the genre. Some are absolutely outstanding and hit a brilliant level of immersion, while others can be a bit underwhelming and just plain rubbish. And while we do have a few zombie VR titles out there which cover the wave-based survival aspect, it just doesn't feel the same. They're definitely fun in their own regards, but they don't tick the right boxes for me. And this is where Pavlov comes in. Pavlov is basically just Counter-Strike, but it's in VR. And it's pretty fun, and funnily enough Pavlov does offer a pretty basic zombie mode as well.
Oh my god, there's even more. Yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna...
But again, it's very basic, and it only has one map. But that's not entirely a problem, since the beautiful thing about Pavlov is it has a fairly decent modding community behind it, and while it's not on the scale of something like Left 4 Dead, the level of quality here is still rather impressive. There's a bunch of fun maps to play around with, and a few modes that you can try out as well, stuff like Trouble in Terrorist Town, and more importantly, some modders went above and beyond and ported zombies from Call of Duty into Pavlov. And I don't just mean, oh wow look, they made a map based off Kino, isn't that cool? I mean they actually took the core game mode of COD Zombies and remade it in Pavlov. And the level of quality here in this mod is honestly insane. You have the points system, areas are locked off as you'd expect. The random boxes here, you have perks, you can get a ray gun, you can even pack-a-punch weapons. And I mean if you're playing Call of the Dead, you get George fucking Romero in it. What I'm trying to say here is, and I can't be more basic and also more accurate, this is just COD Zombies in VR, and that's fucking amazing. With this being in VR however, the game can get a lot harder much faster than normal, so if you're playing zombies the normal way on a desktop, you wouldn't really be worrying about zombies getting inside until you were being overrun in the higher rounds. But even at round 2 in VR, if you're not careful, you can just die. I think the biggest learning curve besides reloading weapons quickly when going around the standard COD Zombies in VR is how often you'll keep dropping your guns in a frantic panic and then trying to struggle picking them up off the floor again. And the same goes for the random box. In certain maps it'll just drop the weapons on the floor, so be prepared. This isn't like Boneworks where you can just use the force to grab a weapon. Pavlov expects you to work to pick up that gun. So if you have a gun, hold on to it for dear life. Oh, and also keep an eye on where your friends' hands go.
Ben, hold up.
Oh, you bitch! You absolute wanker.
Now, as anyone who's familiar to zombies would expect, each time you start the game, your first weapon will be either a pistol equipped in your holster or a cheap gun you can buy off the wall. Your goal is to rack up points, get better equipment, and just keep killing the never-ending horde of the undead. There's a few maps from Call of Duty that have been ported over already, like Kino de Toten and Call of the Dead, but more importantly, there's some new maps created from the ground up using the COD Zombies mod as a template. So there's basically unlimited potential with having ports from other games mixed into the zombie mode, or even having completely original maps made for the game. And I mean, if you want some recommendations, there's already a few original Minecraft zombie maps, and while I'm not a fan of Minecraft, These maps are pretty damn fun. Unfortunately, with the Call of Duty maps, the long-winded Easter eggs were not brought over because the weapons required for them aren't in this mod. Also, who on earth would have the time and patience to do that in VR? Some of those took me an hour back in the day. But I mean, if you want a good thing, the music Easter eggs are still here, and they're still pretty fun. Now, there's a couple of warnings I should really give you with regards to this mod. Firstly, and it shouldn't be a surprise, the performance in this mod on certain maps will absolutely take a nosedive at higher rounds. There's some bugs like hitboxes for the Nova zombies in Kino, and some custom weapons are missing reload animations like when you pull back the bolt on them. So it can be a bit confusing when you first pick them up, but you just kind of get used to it. And I think the weirdest one is sometimes the random box would just vanish. But overall, this is an incredible mod. Even when I was dead and I was just floating around the map in Spectator, I was absolutely blown away by just the detail of the map and the fact that I'm playing a game from my teen years in VR. I don't know what it is, but something about looking at Call of the Dead through the lens of a VR headset is just absolutely surreal to me, and I absolutely love it. If you already have a VR headset and you don't own Pavlov, I would highly recommend it regardless of this mod. There's so much about it which is just really fun, and to me it's the equivalent of old Source games in VR. You've got all the fun little game modes, you've got the main game modes from Counter-Strike, and most importantly zombies. But with the workshop behind this game, it is incredible the level of potential this game has. And I mean, sometimes you might be in a public match on a custom map, and something magical might just happen.